Tonight, we're digging into the crisis in the classroom. The state of Oklahoma again trying to hold the vendor accountable for misspent education funds.
You may remember we have been covering updates on this since officials announced the pandemic-era program back in 2020. Fox 25's Tom Ferguson joins us live from the Office of Management and Enterprise Services. So, Tom, what are officials there hoping for?
Adam and Wendy, they want that vendor, Class Wallet, and its parent company, Clio Inc., to pay up. The disagreement over who's ultimately responsible here, either state officials or that company, takes another turn tonight. Court documents filed on Tuesday show the state's side of the argument. Among other points, records show that Class Wallet was contractually obligated to ensure compliance. But according to a U.S. Department of Education audit, families spent over $650,000 meant for education on things like TVs, air conditioners, and Christmas trees. Aaron Brewer with the Oklahoma Parent Legislative Advocacy Coalition puts the blame squarely on Governor Kevin Stitt and then Secretary of Education Ryan Walters. Now State Superintendent, Walters oversaw the program as the former head of Every Kid Counts Oklahoma.
He doesn't seem to have the skills to manage the finances that get dollars into our kids' schools, and he won't accept responsibility when he makes mistakes.
The state auditor has previously said the state dropped the ball on compliance and oversight. The federal audit also said the state didn't use all available controls to monitor purchases. Oklahoma Attorney General Gentner Drummond dropped a previous lawsuit against Class Wallet on this a year ago. He said then that state actors were the ones responsible. Now, outside legal counsel is taking over.
I'm worried about more money being wasted on attorneys when our Attorney General and our state auditor have both looked into this and said this administration, Ryan Walters, Governor Stitt, are at fault, not the vendor.
Dell City Democrat Andy Fugate has called for a closer look into misspent funds in the past and said he's confused as to why the governor would try to go down this road again.
This is just another example of Kevin Stitt's Groundhog Day approach to everything, whether it's this tax cut that continues to come back day after day, or it's lawsuits against vendors.
In a statement, the governor said, quote, "We have to hold this vendor responsible and protect Oklahoma taxpayers from being left holding the bill." Class Wallet told us that officials have already confirmed the company didn't have the authority or responsibility, quote, to exercise any decision-making with respect to the Oklahoma programs. And this time last year, Walters said he still placed the blame on Class Wallet. We'll have more of those full statements posted on our website. That's okcfox.com. Live in Oklahoma City, Tom Ferguson, Fox 25 News.
All right, Tom, thank you. A second teacher has joined a lawsuit against the State Department of Education and Superintendent Ryan Walters. The suit alleges OSDE breached its contract with the teachers by demanding the repayment of $50,000 sign-on bonuses. Defamation is also alleged against Walters for publicly making statements accusing the plaintiffs of lying on their applications to get the bonus.
State Superintendent Ryan Walters again on the defensive, blaming the press for misinformation on the situation that led OSDE to try and claw back thousands of dollars they incorrectly paid teachers. Fox 25's Capitol reporter Peyton May explains.
What we have seen is a deliberate lie pushed by reporters, pushed by the media.
The controversy revolves around a federally funded program, teachers signing bonuses to recruit new educators in the classroom. Information previously reported by Oklahoma Watch stated 9 teachers had to pay back the money the state sent them, teachers who may not have qualified for the program. The superintendent now says that number is smaller.
There were 4 teachers that had this issue. We have reached out to those individuals and we've explained to them the issue. We've explained to them the falsified information.
The superintendent blames the teachers for falsifying information, a claim one of the 4 we spoke with adamantly denies and is suing the administration for. But Walters points to the contract for the answers.
They signed a contract agreement that said they didn't work in a school last year, but they did.
The contract actually doesn't mention anything about previous district employment, but does explain that the money can be clawed back if information is misrepresented. Regardless, 4 teachers were verified by the department, sent money from the department, and then later received letters that they'd have to return upwards of $50,000 to the department.
Does your department take any accountability for sending out any of this money to teachers? Obviously 4 fell through the cracks. Do you take any accountability for that?
Look, we have a contract that was in place, that was agreed to. We've had multiple levels of accountability that we built into a system. We put in clawbacks that were a requirement from the feds.
The superintendent says his department has been in conversation with the federal government looking for a solution.
There is a path forward that does not require a payback from those teachers.
Reporting for Fox 25 News, I'm Peyton May.
Superintendent Walters tells us he's in talks with the teachers involved and the federal government looking to resolve that issue. He says the solution could be additions to the contracts that could keep teachers in the classroom for a longer period of time so they don't have to pay back the state. Now, Oklahoma Watch and State Impact Oklahoma issuing a statement in response to Walters' claim that their reporting was inaccurate. They say they've asked the Department of Education repeatedly to specify what erroneous information they believe their work contained. They say the State Department hasn't identified any inaccuracies except to say there were 4 teachers involved rather than 9. Both outlets say this conflicts with the written information the department provided. You can find the full statement on OKCFox.com.
A potential olive branch as Tulsa Public Schools and the State Department of Education came together for a town hall this afternoon. The biggest takeaway is how the district's relationship with State Superintendent Ryan Walters has improved. All of this stemming from efforts to turn things around for the district after concerns surrounding its accreditation months ago. At the time, Walters told district leaders not to test him and to fix what he called glaring academic concerns, or he would. Both Walters and TPS Superintendent Dr. Ebony Johnson sent a clear message to each other today that things are on the right track.
We're going to continue to do what we can to help you and support you in the work you're doing, but it's very exciting work you're doing. Thank you for the tours today. Thank you for letting us see the kids and the tutors and the teachers and the leadership going on here.
We're appreciative of that affirmation. Thank you for the support that you're giving Tulsa Public Schools.
Business and Tulsa leaders like Mayor G.T. Bynum were also at today's town hall to show their support.
An Oklahoma lawmaker proposing a bill that would mandate standardized testing for private and homeschool students.
It's an idea that is facing some backlash. Fox 25's David Chazanoff joins us live from the state capitol. So David, what makes this legislation so controversial?
Admiral Wendy, child advocate Tom Newell says this idea is facing backlash in Oklahoma, and there's a good reason for that. State Rep Judge Strom is proposing House Bill 3585. It would require private and homeschool students to take standardized tests. Child advocate Tom Newell with Yes Every Kid says this idea threatens parental choice.
What this bill does is it basically says, well, we're going to give you alternatives, but they're all going to look the same. Here's 3 red apples, you can pick from one of those 3. Well, that's not real choice. That's not real alternatives.
If lawmakers vote to approve the legislation, students would have to take their exams at a state-certified testing building. Newell argues that would be counterproductive.
What it means is that whether it's a private school or homeschool, they're all going to have to teach to the same test. They're all going to have to look the same. If this bill were to pass, it would definitely interfere with parents being able to choose what's best for their children.
If the bill passes, students who don't take a mandated test would have to repay their tax credit to the state.
We will do everything we can to convince the legislature that they're actually going back on their word last year when they said parents know what's best. If they were to pass this bill and sign it into law, they'd be saying only the state know what's best.
And we reached out to Strom, the author of this bill, but we did not hear back. Reporting live at the state capitol, David Chazanoff, Fox 25 News.
Thank you, David. Well, chronic absenteeism, a problem affecting schools around Oklahoma and all across the nation. After the years when COVID affected the ability to attend in-person classes, schools still working to bring attendance numbers up, implementing some new partnerships to address the problem.
Quick Trip partners with us to provide gift cards for eligible students each month. Also, we put in place some tardy stations and immediately notifies their parents, and then there's consequences for that.
The Oklahoma Department of Education's website defines a student to be chronically absent after missing 10% or more of school days, including both excused and unexcused absences. In a normal 180-day school calendar, this would be approximately 18 days or 2 days every month.
Senate Republicans met today rolling out their education priorities for the upcoming 2024 session. Lawmakers say they took the time between last session and the upcoming session to listen to the community. And this session, they're focused on teacher pay raises, incentive programs for phone-free campus policies, expanding adoption leave, and more.
As you know, I promised last year that we weren't finished. And so we continue to build on the momentum from last year, and we met with teachers over the summer. And once again, we convened all the presidents of our colleges and universities to the Capitol over the interim to ask them questions and to hear their concerns and how can we be helpful. In our communities, we met with parent groups and advocacy organizations.
Other key focal points for lawmakers this session include requiring school districts to implement a mobile panic alert system and adding 4 more members to the Board of Education. And that was your big story breakdown tonight. You can find more about this crisis in the classroom on OKCFox.com.
And if you missed any part of the big story breakdown, you find it all on our YouTube channel. Scan the QR code on your screen or search OKC Fox.